Hi everyone, welcome to the interview series by Law Firm Ready. I am your host Jyotirmoy, and today we have with us Ms. Srabonee Roy. Ms. Srabonee Roy is a corporate lawyer who has over 16 years of experience in the legal industry. She has been a partner with firms such as JSA, Samvad, and Veritas Legal. She specializes in cross border investments and other commercial and legal matters, and we're really glad that she's joined us today. So, thank you, ma'am, for joining us. How are you doing?
Thank you, Jyotirmoy. I'm good. Thanks for asking. And that was a great introduction. I don't think I would have had a brilliant introduction from this.
So just to jump to the first question, we wanted to ask you, ma'am, how did you get into this line of work? Was it some family member who inspired you, or some event that motivated you to become a lawyer?
Um, no, I'm a first generation lawyer, and my decision at the time was met with quite some resistance from the family. As the image of lawyers back then in smaller towns and cities was still very bleak. The image of the lawyers at that time in these cities were, people in black and white going in and out of small district courts and sitting with the umbrella outside of the courtrooms. That was the image that was portrayed, uh, or the movies portrayed image of Tariq pe Tariq kind of image of lawyers. And therefore, I guess rightly so, my parents and family members were a little concerned as to whether the decision of going into the law was a correct decision, especially from coming from a small town and being a woman. Because during one of my internship days, I was interning under a criminal lawyer who was practicing criminal law. And one of the days when my father came in, there were people with actual guns sitting there who were the bodyguards of a minister, and it really scared him. So yeah, but I think looking at my conviction and with a lot of convincing from my side, the family did come around, and I took the leap of faith. And 2 years into the course, I knew I had made the right decision. Rest, as they say, says history. Right. So you spoke about your experience interning with a criminal lawyer. Remember, you yourself have been a corporate lawyer for over 16 years now. So what do you like the most about being a corporate lawyer? So it has been learning. It has to be the learning of new businesses that you come across when you're doing corporate law, and the new business models, how the businesses work, and with the startup starting, mushrooming all over. This has become more of a wide and wider scope, where you get to know a lot about different kind of businesses, and therefore very interesting structures and very interesting business ideas. So, ma'am, you worked on so many corporate deals over your career. What would you say was the most memorable moment? One of the very early days in a moment that I remember is is when I was giving a briefing to a senior counsel. The counsel actually said that I will make a good lawyer, and that at that point in time, coming from a senior lawyer, seemed to be very uh, precious thing. And you know how, like a fresher having such a comment from a senior counsel of a Supreme Court sounded like, I was on cloud nine that day. A lot of people want to join a career in a corporate law firm because we get to work on marquee deals, the pay is good, and it's a very fast-paced environment. But while there are all these perks, now what do you think are the sort of downsides that young people should be aware of before entering this industry? One thing that the young lawyer should understand, that the profession is very demanding. So when they are deciding about whether to enter the profession, uh, they need to be very, very sure about what they want out of the profession. Is it money? Is it fame? Is it power? Because all of these are different ways of getting something. And one of these things that a lot of people are talking right now is work-life balance. When we started, work-life balance had uh, was not as much spoken about as it is spoken about today, and therefore I feel there is a mismatch of expectation from both the sides, the seniors and the juniors. So I would say for young lawyers that they should really look, decide as to what they want to do and what they are expecting out of the profession. The profession does take a toll on social life, and it does not get easier as you grow in the profession. It only increases. So while I'm not saying work-life balance cannot be achieved, it may be difficult. So understand, so they should understand their strengths and weakness and then decide as to which aspect of law does interest them. Understand your strengths and weaknesses and then decide on what part of law excites you, and then target that practice or aspect of law.
Thank you for raising that point of work-life balance, because during this COVID, we've seen a lot of resignations across firms, a lot of people burning out due to the increasing working pressure. So, what are your opinions on that balance in that sense?
See, mental health issues and burnouts have been always around, and it is not limited to lawyers. It is the case with each professional. The degree may differ from profession to profession and also person to person. Uh, However, what has happened is COVID has increased or elevated it to an ugly parameters. My view on this is to, before it gets to a point where one person cannot handle it and there is a complete breakdown of that person, one should seek help. One should have that capability to identify that they are nearing a burnout, or they are nearing where they cannot take, or their mental health is being affected. And I think now with the COVID situation, it has, so see, the two sides of the coins is, one, it has impacted, and also the other side is now firms have also recognized that there are burnouts and there are mental health issues, and therefore they are coming up with different kinds of solutions so that they can give their associates and colleagues enough way to cope with them. Um, so may so that's what I would suggest, that prevention is a better thing. Make simple changes to your routine. I won't preach as to what everybody already knows about, doing exercises and meditate and all. But as I said, I would certainly recommend seek help as soon as possible, as soon as you realize that it is required. Um, Keep your family and friend, whoever you're comfortable, informed about your day-to-day things, or just share it so that they can be of help. Have a support system. Make yourself and your caregivers aware about, a lot of it depends on the awareness. Unfortunately, and I won't say only in India, it is a worldwide problem that mental health awareness is really, really not at the stage, or not at the at not at the stage where it should be. And everyone who is in a position that they can help in spreading the mental health awareness, they should come out and uh, support such mental health awareness programs. Few of the things that one may do to take getting a break in there, or for their mental health is take smaller breaks during the day, hydrate themselves, and probably sleep is one of the most important aspect, and one of the things that a lot of people tell me, and I have read it a lot in a lot of books, and a lot of these um, motivational speakers also say that if you can take a break, go somewhere every 3 months, even if it is a weekend trip to the most nearest place, it just helps you a lot.
And that's a very wonderful answer. And thank you for like discussing this issue. And I think you've rightly said a lot of firms have started taking notice of this. And I think some firms have started also giving some mental health leaves for a couple of weeks to their retainers because they've been working so hard during the pandemic. As you rightly said, that the legal profession is a very demanding career, but I think if we manage our time well, we can probably find some time for ourselves also, because you yourself have a Instagram page called Departure Ready where you document your travels. So if you can tell us, how do you manage to do that while having a high pressure job?
That's a very loaded question. So, yes, traveling has been a very, very integrated part of my growing up, and it still is. I, if you may say, I live for travel rather the other way around, and that is something that I need to make sure that I have time to take care of that. So the way I do it is I go on off seasons when everybody else do not have the pressure of the family and kids schools and all. So May, June, July, there are months that I don't travel. August is something where most people don't have anything and they are available, and December again, December end again, close down the work. So that's another time that I travel. So these two timings, I measure it in a way that least amount of disruption happened at the workplace, and obviously, what I do is inform the inform obviously everyone in advance, almost a month in advance, so that everyone can have the resources in place, and the client's expectations are met. Um, and this has to be always supported by the firm, and I have been lucky to have my firms always supporting me for this. um, I And also one more thing is that I'm a solo traveler, and in most places I just pack my bags and leave. So there is not too much of coordination that I need to do with a lot of people. So I think that also helps me a lot, because a lot of people do not get to travel much because half of the plans get cancelled because of the coordination disadvantage.
Why don't you tell us which has been your favorite destination till now, since you've been to so many places?
If you ask me, all the 48 cities across 18 countries that I've been, I will always say all of them. But if I have to pick one place, it's Malaga in Spain. It's a very, very small town. It's a port town. Uh, and um, and I, and it's like a soul place for me. So there is a quote which says, every person has a soul place, and that is the place where they feel one with themselves. So for me, Malaga was that place. The So till date, when I think about Malaga, it's the sunset that I saw, it's the music that I heard, it's the smell of that place that I had. So it was a experience which really got all my five senses and the umami sense out. So yeah, Malaga is my one of my favorite places. And if I have to say, uh, talk about one of the places that I would like to stay or settle down, I generally don't like the idea of settling down up, outside. But if I have to ever, it will have to be Edinburgh, because I love their Gothic structures and the old world charm that they have. And if I have to choose something in India, it will be Kashmir any day. It's I would suggest everyone to go, and everyone to go there for all the 4 seasons, because each of the seasons have their own beauty, and they don't call it a Jannat for no reason. It is Jannat.
Absolutely, ma'am. Even I've been there, and I completely agree with you regarding Kashmir. Ma'am, apart from traveling, you also have one of your hobbies is also powerlifting, and you previously mentioned that you wish to represent India at the Commonwealth Games. Could you please elaborate that?
Yeah, so to represent India in the powerlifting competition at the Commonwealth platform is a dream that I want, that I have. Whether it happens or not will depend on a lot of things. But yeah, it's an aspiration. My journey of powerlifting has not been very long. I started it almost 4 years back, and it's powerlifting is an integral part of my life. It's not just a health regime. It's like a meditation for me. It's my health regime. It's my mental regime. It's everything put together. So when I'm under a bar, it's like I'm one with the bar. So
Right.
for that, but unfortunately, a life of athlete has to be very, very disciplined, which with the profession may get a little difficult to do, because it requires very disciplined hours of sleep, nutrition, um, everyday practice. So, which some of the days you are not able to, because you're held up at work. You have some other work to be taken up. So yeah, I haven't lost hope, but I'm still hoping. I have done games, and I am proud to say that I've won on those levels.
Wow,
But
that's
thank you,
congratulations.
thank you.
Ma'am, what I understand is that even though the legal profession is very demanding, I think if we can manage our time well, we will find time to pursue our hobbies, be it traveling or powerlifting or any other thing. So that's very reassuring for someone who's just entering the profession to hear that.
Uh, time uh, Time management is very, very crucial. If you can, and at the earliest stage itself, if you can start time management um, at the smallest possible way to the biggest possible way, I think um, find time for your hobbies. One thing I would add is a lot of my time comes from the fact that I don't have a television.
Okay, surely. So cut down on Netflix and Amazon Prime and things like that.
Yeah.
So as you know, currently the COVID situation seems to be getting better, and a lot of lawyers will be returning to the offices. So, just as a last question, what is your advice for these young lawyers and other young people who will be watching this interview? What is the road ahead for them?
COVID or not COVID, and working from home or not otherwise, I would advise young lawyers to learn, and learn as much as you can. Even at the college level, a lot of people may come up with the advice that at college, what you study in the college is not what you work, or it will not help you at the workplace. But do not fall for that. Everything that you study in the college will come at some point will help you at the workplace, and it is crucial for you to focus on that while you are at the college level. The smallest and the biggest assignment should be viewed by you as a learning experience. Please do not take it uh, as if you are not part of the assignment or something that is below, or is something that you do not want to do because you think that's not meaty enough or that's not great enough as a lawyer who should get a bite of a transaction. You will get there. Don't worry. You will just wait it out. Get hone your skills. Get your research skills as a completely on top of on the top line, because research and due diligences, these are the two very important aspects of this profession. Research work will always give you enough to make sure that you know everything. So when you are at the negotiation table, you know that you can defend each and every word that you have written in the document. And that's very important because that will make you a good or a bad lawyer. Also, the business acumen is very required for one to be a corporate lawyer. Therefore, to understand the psyche of the promoter, what does your investor want, depending on which side you are representing, uh, which uh, uh, which uh, uh, which side you are representing, and the business acumen will help you also to give your client a holistic solution. Um, the problem is that I see these days is that young lawyers getting impatient doing research work, due diligence, and want to jump directly to transaction, while they do not realize that until they have the understanding of the law clearly, they would not be at a position which, as a negotiator, would make them a great negotiator. That that is the difference between a good negotiator and a bad negotiator. uh, One should know that this can only be this um, this milestone can uh, only be sorry. Um, what I would say is that patience and conviction is something that a young lawyer should possess,
Right.
keep going through these processes and be patient about it. Everyone will become the Harvey Specter. Just give it some time. Eh, we will get there. Do not lose hope. Um, Due diligences are very good way to learn a lot of law and a lot of business sides of a particular business, and that also will give you a lot of insight on what needs to be done as a, like, diligences are the backbone for your representation and warranty. So that uh, also, no work should be considered as a waste of time in the format, at least in the initial years. Like, if I remember correctly, there was a time when I had just joined the profession. I have also cataloged just the documents that were there given in the due diligence one way at that time. And as I also thought at that point in time that it is, what are they asking me to do, just looking at the files and making list of documents, how does it help me? But trust me, it did help me. Today I know what is the importance of list of documents attached to a due diligence. So just look at those things in with a, probably, I'll say, if you are struggling with it, with a pinch of salt, you will get there. You will have a transaction which you will do, but just don't get impatient with it. One more thing that I will definitely emphasize is for each lawyer to take responsibility of the work assigned. Each team member, including the junior most, is important and is equally responsible for the work product that goes to the client. So the work product that one is working um, should should be in the form, including the proofreading, formatting, uh, that can be sent to the client. So you should do the work, as in the young lawyer should do the work as if they are the one who will send the document to the client, rather than them thinking that I will give a document which the senior will look at it and take care of it. So, because it's a team effort, and a well drafted work product goes a long way with the clients. And without the teamwork, it is very, very difficult for one person to come up with a very, um, I would say, a very well drafted document.
Absolutely, ma'am, and thank you so much for explaining the importance of due diligence and underscoring the importance of patience. I think these are definitely things that all of us will keep in mind as we move ahead in our career. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really wonderful speaking with you,
Thank
and
you,
and all the best for your Commonwealth aspirations. Definitely.
thank you so much. I had a good